Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 45 of the Insiders on Real Estate and Marketing. I'm your host, Sandy Hibbert, and my co-host, Mr. Mark Miller, is sitting right next to me.
There we go. Good morning.
Good morning. We're not here in the afternoon. We're here this morning.
Right. I've got a lot of energy, and Sandy's like, what are we
I
doing?
know, I'm slugging. Mark's like, oh, I like this time slot. We should do this. And I'm like, get out of here now. I still need my second cup of coffee. Anyway, we're super excited to be here this morning, and we have a very special guest, Mr. Mike Pyburn, who is with Palm Agent, and he's going to be talking to you about the latest rollouts of bells and whistles and upgrades and updates to their wonderful Realtor app, Secured. Whoa, what's it called?
Secured Agent TX.
Right.
I almost called Secured
Well, but-
Title
and
TX. It's
that's
Secured Agent TX.
Yeah, that's our private label. So
Yeah.
they are the back.
You can white label your company.
Yeah, they're the backbone toward anybody that's out there
Yeah.
with the.
All I know it's a super duper realtor
Yeah.
app, and it does everything from calculating closing costs and estimates and all that to social media marketing. So anyway, we're gonna hear a lot about that here in a second. But first, let's get an update on the market from Mr. Mark. How are things out there?
They're pretty soft. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in fact, a really top producing agent, we got a contract from this week, and he came in, and I was visiting about his office, and kind of said, "How are you doing?" And he said,
Yeah.
"Actually, I'm pretty busy, but overall, most of our office are off by 50%." And I think you could probably take that across the board and to the mortgage space as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start seeing resumes come in and they're from other industry seeking a job, that tells me, kind of where we're headed. And we think there's going to be another
Interesting.
interest rate lift possibly before the end of the year, which we don't need.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really putting a substantially slowdown in the market. We got demand, we've got, inventory still low, but now you've got a rate environment at 8% on a 30-year. So there's still buy downs, there's
Right.
arms or things of that nature, but so I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, I think, in the fourth quarter. And yesterday we got, on the commercial side, we got our first transaction in from a lender who had foreclosed on a multifamily property, and they're turning it to sell. And this was in what I call a secondary market.
Right.
So I don't think the major, large metro multifamily are going to be as much the target as this second tier, because the second tier is where the less experienced investors stepped in and bought multifamily, and now they're in that same position of capital calls, need to restructure, and they don't have the capability to retain the property. So I think we're going to. It's not like we're going to see an onslaught, but we just see just little signs out
Yeah.
there.
Those are little red flags.
Yeah, postings are not high, and there's only about a 10% pull through to foreclosure. There's still some government money that's out there to help bring borrowers current, but that's about to run its course. Probably the best news, everybody, and they're just not. Most people, and I posted on Facebook, get their tax bills in, right, for their
Right.
real estate taxes, and it's one of those things you just really don't want to open. But I just did out of curiosity. I always do anyhow, but I opened it up.
You open yours?
Yeah,
He does.
but I started.
Do you open yours?
I do.
Yeah, but if you look, and all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, that's a lower tax bill. Well, what they've done from the authorities is they've gone ahead and embedded what would be, when we pass in November, we have an election to lower the taxes.
Right.
Which I cannot
And they're
help.
so confident it's going to pass?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
they're so confident. Probably from an administrative standpoint, they don't have to
Wow.
reissue another statement.
That's
So they went
cool.
ahead, well, that was almost a 25% reduction in my taxes
Wow.
this year. So it's
I need
like,
to open mine.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like at least a kind of little bit of relief feeling, if you will,
Yeah.
on that side. But
It
anyhow,
seems like that the name of the game right now, if you own your own business, is that you're busier than you've ever been, but you're not making as much money.
Right.
So I think it even goes over to corporations. Everybody's so busy.
Right.
Technology has complicated our lives so much
Yeah.
that we've got all these things now that we have to do, even when you're not making money. I need more clients, but I've got to get
Right.
all this stuff done. So when am I going to get time to go out and hustle
Yeah.
because I'm taking care of all this stuff? It's interesting.
Right. Yep. And technology is one of those ways where I'm beta testing right now something that I know it's developed. I'm just slowly going to look to rolling it out, but it's designed for agents that that literally farm the farming side.
Yeah.
And I can download that farm into this system, and then it sets up an automatic notification based on what I select criteria of anything that's publicly filed against that house going forward. So what happens is an agent
Lead
goes out and
generator.
farms an area, and they're like, they're trying now to figure out what's my touch points. How do I make contact?
Right.
This will all of a sudden let you know death certificate, birth certificate, heirship affidavit, probate,
Bankruptcy.
whatever it may be,
Yeah.
that what I call life events that now say that house is a potential target of the need of
That's
your
very
resource.
cool.
Yeah.
So we're beta testing that right now, and I'm also working with a couple of lenders on their portfolios as well for another measurement as they track portfolios to see where may be concern. And all of a sudden they see a federal tax lien filed against that property. That's an alarm. But
Yeah.
that could be something of a refinance cash out or something
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that. So anyhow, I'm
All
kinda
those things, if you've been in marketing long enough,
Yeah.
that we used to have to go down to the courthouse and actually pull that information
Yes.
or wherever
Yeah.
it was in marketing. Of course, we had to actually do everything
Right.
by hand, if you will. And now technology's is able to do all those things for us,
Right.
but yet we're having to manage it.
Yeah.
And we're on a learning curve.
Yep.
Talking we meaning people, everybody. You're on a learning curve as to how to use it because it's changing so fast. So
Right.
that's where the time absorb is.
Yeah, and you're trying to. Lead generation is always
Yeah.
the challenge,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
this is a
So
really
hard.
very unique tool that I think will help
That's
for that.
cool. That's
We're
cool.
and then finally we're in a NDA. I finally said I'm trying to find companies in the metroplex, the major metros, to acquire are not as desirable, in my opinion, and so we're now discovering some second-tier opportunity. I'm under an NDA to look at a title company out in East Texas, about 80
Sweet.
miles from us, but a nice little platform, a good reputation. They cover 4 counties, so we're continuing to look at acquisitions, and I think
Now, why would you not want to acquire in the metroplex?
I would.
What's
but,
the difference there?
But so many agents have sold out that the availability of companies has greatly been reduced to that side. Plus, I don't want to buy a large platform. I don't want to buy a 25 branch network. I like to
Right.
buy between 1 and 5, 15 to 20 employees.
Yeah.
Something you can easily integrate in, bring your culture to, and be able to enhance to that side. So, we're continuing focus because unfortunately, I think we're going to see other companies that are going to need to have a exit strategy because they're just not going to have the capital to stay.
Well, it's this
in
kind
this
of
kind of
wisdom
market.
that is why secured title is so strong. And I just want to give a shout out to Secured Title of Texas. They're our sponsor, a boutique company by choice, but they're don't let boutique fool you. They're not small. They've got a large network. Veteran players, and Mark is at the helm. So if you need a title company, then contact Mark. And actually, what we're going to talk about today is something that is exclusive to Secured Title of Texas, this app that they use. So let's segue into that.
Sure.
You guys have all heard of Palm Pilot. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the namesake of Palm Agent. And Palm Agent, we've got their representative here, Mr. Michael Pyburn. He's going to talk about the Secured Agent TX1. That's a mouthful. And this is the proprietary app that Mark's people use over at Secured Title. So we're going to dig into that. You want to tell us a little bit
You
about
bet.
all
Michael grew up right around here in Richardson, attended UNT, and was in advertising and psychology. I wish I'd gone into psychology because I need it all every day. And he's been with
Keep your number handy,
he's
buddy.
been Palm Agent for 8 years, Director of Research and Development. And
That's a job, man.
Yes, Michael, and his focus is meeting with agents and title companies across the nation to find ways to evolve this tool for the ever-changing market. So I thought this would be a great one for us to have discussion out because I don't think the Realtor community properly uses this kind of technology, which is available to them, as part of their social media approach. And we're going to cover some of that today. Because, what drives me nuts is the graphic of where the pumpkin patches are for coming up and those kind of market updates and things of that nature, and post that out and think you've got your job done for the day.
Yeah, no. It's just
and I
a
think what we
piece of
need,
it.
this is a great tool for education, and Michael is going to cover that today, and I think that's really good. So let's kind of just talk, bring it down and break it down, as one would say. What is the app all about, in your opinion?
Yeah, I love that question. So I like to break it down to 3 bullet points. You've got the aspect of creating great looking reports. In terms of a buyer estimate or a seller net sheet, you can create one in 30 seconds. So that's bullet point 1. Bullet point 2 is that there's actually 23 calculators that have been built into this to help you guys in those conversations. Agents need help in those conversations. As Mark mentioned, with rates being so high, it's a little difficult to talk with those buyers about buying right now. And so we've got, again, 23 different calculators built into the app to help aid in those conversations. And then, of course, the third bullet point on what the app's all about is that social media content aspect. We've got thousands of pieces of content available in the app, updated regularly based on what's going on in the market. And so, the app has a ton in there, but I like to boil it down to those 3 talking points, really. So,
Cool. Well, you want to jump into it?
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let's throw up that first slide, Trey, and let's talk about what this app is all about.
Yeah, so Secured Agent TX1, that's the tool we're talking about. That's the tool provided to you guys by the Secured Title of Texas team. Most of the app is free. In fact, about 21 of the calculators are included for free. That social media content aspect, that does cost 99 cents a month. But we've got some cool stuff I'll show you that is included in that. And, basically, like I said, the first bullet point, creating a report. You can get from an input screen to a printout in 30 seconds. So whether you're sitting with a seller, talking about how much they're going to walk with, or as
Is this pulling comps?
Huh?
Is this pulling comps?
No, we don't pull comps
I was
yet.
gonna say, oh my
God. We do pull property address for the taxes
This is
and
so
estimated
cool,
loan
though.
balance.
Yeah, taxes are very helpful.
Yeah,
to pull that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, getting from an input screen to a printout in 30 seconds, when you're out house shopping with those buyers, being able to create an estimate so quickly, it just has you looking
And
professional.
it's very visually pleasing.
Yeah, absolutely. We put a lot of work into that, and with that printout, we've got a screenshot here on the right side of the printout, but this thing will let you translate that to 14 different languages.
Very
We've got
cool.
7 different printouts for it. Just the ultimate tool in regards to generating a great looking printout. Now, really, I want to talk about this new calculator that we introduced.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, like rates are such a big deal right now, and keeping a lot of those buyers frozen, that agents need a way to have that conversation. And so on September 25th, we actually released this buy now or buy later calculator, as you can see in the center image and in this
Whoa.
graphic.
So you're
yeah.
sitting in the car with your client and they're going like, oh, we just don't know. And you can pull this out and
Absolutely.
go, yeah, well, here's what happens if you do now.
Yeah.
Here's what happens if you wait till next year.
Exactly,
Well,
exactly.
a real important feature
Brilliant.
of that too is the appreciation rate.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause I
Oh.
think that's lost.
Yeah.
A lot of times because we're dealing with just the focus to the rate and the mortgage payment.
Exactly.
But in this market, you also need to be focused on the appreciation rate
Yeah,
as well. 'Cause
exactly.
Yeah.
That's. I'm so glad, Mark, that you bring that up. On the left side, that screen is actually showing that. We'll show the estimated future value of that home. So, if you're talking with that buyer and they're thinking about waiting till next year in hopes of a lower rate, one thing that's a given is that home is going to be more expensive next year. Experts are already predicting so, but if there is a drop in rates, there's so much buyer demand pent up waiting for a lower rate, they're going to enter the market, home prices go up even further. And so that appreciation aspect, that future value of the home is so important. So that left side talks about that. And then of course the other, this calculator actually has like 5 different result screens, but I wanted to put up the 2 I think are most important. On the right side, the other conversation that we're helping agents have with this calculator is, hey, if you do think rates are going to be lower in the future, you've got two options. You can buy now, get the home for the right price, and refinance in 2 years, or you can wait, pay more for the home, and get that lower rate. And this screen actually breaks down what the payment would be on both of those options. And when you look down towards the bottom, you've actually got equity that's been built over those 2 years. And so such a powerful tool for really illustrating to them that if they do wait for that hypothetical rate drop, that home could appreciate right out of their price range. And
So what's the accuracy on that too?
Oh man,
You guys test it?
so that's why we partner with operations like Mark's to really dial this in. You know, they deal with so many transactions and deal with the numbers of all of it that we rely on them and partner with them to load all of that into the app to make it, you know, as accurate as possible.
Yeah,
So,
very cool. And so what is this going to cost an agent to have this added to their app?
Okay, so this calculator, and like I said, those 21 different calculators are provided by Mark and his team for free. The optional subscription portion of the app is 99 cents a month or $10 a year, and that's actually going to be the premium section of the app. And here's an example of some of that premium content. On the left side, we've got 2 printouts that you could do. This is one of the 5 categories available, infographics. But those 2 pieces on the side, you know, just talking about each of them independently. The first one actually talks about how much homeowners have gained over the last 5 years. You know, taking a look at that actual number. We all know homes have appreciated a lot, but this actually gives a graphic that shows each state how much homes have appreciated, and then it has a calculator built in so you can actually put in a price point and show how much equity has been built over the past 5 years. So that one I love. The second one actually takes a look at, again, that appreciation number. We take 4 expert predictions and show what that home is going to cost next year, just to give that consumer a look at that home that they're looking at right now, how much it could possibly cost next year based on these industry projections. So those infographics on the left side, really awesome, available in your app right now, along with thousands of other pieces. The swipeable infographics on that right side, you know, these are multi-piece graphics that we create to help you post to
Those are very
social media
cool.
platforms.
Like your carousels and
Yeah,
Instagram.
exactly. And that bottom image, Sandy, I wanted to point that out to you because we actually have different formatted versions for the different platforms. This one is actually formatted for Facebook. So those call to actions at the bottom, the like, the comment, the share, are
Perfect.
based on the buttons on Facebook.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and so we've got, you know, TikTok, LinkedIn, stories for both Instagram and Facebook. We've actually curated the content for those various platforms. And then my last slide talks about another type of content that we have in that premium subscription, which are what we call filters. These are a way for you to take those pictures and market your business, whether you're taking a picture of those buyers after closing. Maybe you want to take a picture of that listing that you're trying to market. Record a quick open house invite. This thing will let you, you know, snap a quick photo, record a video, and make your post for the day in a matter of 5-10 seconds with nice personality, your branding in the top right corner. The filters I truly love. And
Fun.
That'd be perfect when you arrive, you know, you got an open house on Sunday and you arrive at the open house. It's like, okay,
Exactly.
let me put together a little quick.
Or you can snap
Infomercial.
pictures while you're
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah.
live, real time,
Yeah.
add the filter, put it out on your stories.
Exactly.
I mean, so this is so cool. Will realtors use it? That is the question.
Well, we're
know.
constantly training.
Yes.
That's part of it, is to get them comfortable in using it and to stop and recognize the benefit and the power
It is.
of that.
And one thing that I find in working with realtors on stuff like this is they'll use this thing all day long for the calculators.
Yep.
And they'll completely forget that there's social media.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, you know, let's have a little training at your office. Let's
Right.
show them how to use that. And for the sake of personal marketing, you can't use those kind of images in all of your social media marketing. You know, every day you've got stories, Monday through Friday, weekends, all you're running is things like that you're going to get lost. So this is where, expert advice has to come in to help teach you how to incorporate these kinds of things into your marketing. 3 times a week, 2 times a week, the old thing, it's still true, 80% personal, 20% business. So you've got to mix all this stuff into what your current marketing plan is to make a really dynamic personal marketing program. Marketing's necessary. It's what validates our businesses. It's what validates what we do. So, marketing is important. We all know that.
Well, when we think about this for a social media standpoint, that's obviously a wonderful application. But the other side is if you're at a moment in time with a buyer or seller, either one, this has so many tools to right there answer questions.
Right on the
Absolutely.
spot.
Because I think that's where your opportunity to close, so to speak, people to get them off of dead center is saying, well, how much is it going to cost me? What would my payment be?
And you've got the answer
What
right there.
about how much does this home appreciate? Whatever it may be, you've got it right there at your hand to be able to
Absolutely.
continue and not have a break in that communication, not a let's reconvene type scenario. Because I think when you've got people there and you've got that opportunity to impact them to decisioning, I think that's the time to do it. Secondly, I think this is really a good tool for the lenders to have in their pocket as well, to help their realtor clients. I ran into my buddy Craig Jarrell with First Horizon yesterday when I was at lunch, and we started talking about production, and he said, we just got to educate people more about how that now is the time to buy a home. And I think we got to get over this hump of this fear factor of the rate.
Yeah.
And this kind of tool gives you that
Yes, you
opportunity.
cannot be afraid of these rates right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
because this takes it and puts it into numerical, puts it into numbers that they can see to that side and bring the fear away and get them focused on the opportunity of the house, the appreciation. And the truth of the matter is, probably sometime next year, rates are going to soften again, and you're going to have possibly a 200 or 300 basis point decline, and then you can refinance, and you'll have appreciation and equity in the house that will help toward that 20% value
Yeah.
for your refinance. So I mean, there's so many upsides to it.
Oh,
that
and I like what you said about it visually shows them.
Yes.
And we are such a visual society
We are.
now because of social media. We've all gotten used to the bold graphics and things being little sound bites and
Yeah.
bullet points and things like that. And here on those screens that you showed, those numbers and things that normally you'd have to pull a report and have somebody try to read that. Now
Yeah.
they're just right there.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
visual, they're easy to understand, they're bold and bright.
Yeah.
Well,
I
now
love
you
it.
can take the contract price, and we're not showing it on here, but we also have a net sheet calculator.
absolutely.
So you can go all the way through, because what we'll have in it for us, it's got our fees embedded into it as well. Then you got the taxes, so you can look at a proposed closing date, and you can actually see what would be a potential net that you'd have to bring in order to buy that property.
Exactly.
Now, can you spit those out on a printer and make like a report
Absolutely.
so I could
And you
meet
can
with
email.
someone and
Yeah.
then I
Yeah,
could print them out
You
and then
could email it. You could text it.
that could be a leap behind.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
After
we've
you
got
look
a
at a
ton.
house.
Yeah, we've got a ton of different printouts for all this stuff. And, I just want to piggyback on something that Mark was saying. In times where the market is a little softer, where there is that fear, there's buyers and sellers on the sidelines, the agents who have a tool like this and can have those conversations in real time and actually educate their consumers, they're just providing a better experience. They're going to be
Oh,
the agents who
absolutely.
are winning. And
Absolutely.
so, that's what we pride ourselves in, is helping those agents be the knowledge brokers and be able to have that conversation with their clients wherever they are. Pull out your phone when you bump into a potential seller at your kid's soccer game and work up a net sheet for them, text it over in a matter of 30 seconds. And so, it's more important than ever before in regards to the having conversations, to the social media content, so you can educate your followers about this market that there's so much fear swirling around in.
There really is. You can communicate the
Yeah.
facts like you're always
Right.
saying.
Well, and I think the critical part, sometimes you say about the agent, will they really use it? And the thing that you need to understand is this thing is built to be user-friendly.
there
yeah,
you go. And that's so
absolutely.
important.
And I like user-friendly.
I do too.
Because I can get frustrated and
Yeah.
just kind of like I'm going to back out, come back to it to another day. This is very, very user
Oh,
friendly.
it is so funny at our office when we release a new feature, we will actually be in the conference room arguing about the amount of button clicks because
Right.
if it's not simple, they're not going to use it. And
Right.
so a core belief with our company is making that tool simple for agents.
Intuitive.
Yeah, exactly.
So on the side of
Love it.
research and development, and we're covering what we have today, but as you look out in the future, what are some of the things that you are looking to potentially develop within this application that
Yeah.
might be of interest to know?
Absolutely. So we've released the buy now or buy later calculator recently, which is getting tremendous reception. What we're looking at now is tweaking our buy down stuff. We've got some buy down calculators
There
in
you
there
go.
to talk about permanent buy downs, temporary buy down programs, whether it's 3-2-1, a 2-1. We're also trying to help with those frozen sellers right now. Sellers, they're sitting on a lot of equity, but they're scared to sell their home because I got to buy with this
Where am
higher
I gonna
interest
go?
rate. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And so we take some calculations and talk about things like holding costs. The longer your house is sitting on the market, the more you're paying certain things. And so taking into account things like that, we're able to do a similar calculator to the one that we just released, buy now or buy later, and have that conversation of should I sell now or sell later. And so, that, and of course the social media content is huge. Green screens are trending. The algorithms on Facebook and Instagram are set to promote that type of content to more people. And so we're trying to incorporate more green screen content into the app. So just a few things, but this thing will always evolve. We're always trying to,
Always.
that's one thing. That's how our model is built. We want to have new features that Mark and his team can get in front of those agents and say, hey, I know you use it every day for your net sheets, but did you hear about this new calculator we just
Yes.
released? Let me go ahead
Are
and
you
show
showing
you
that to your clients?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are you using this when you're in those difficult conversations? So there's a lot in the hopper, but that's a little peek
That's
behind
awesome.
the curtains.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So-
Well, all of this plays into an agent's personal marketing. When I shop for an agent, when you shop for an agent, we're going to go with the person that we click with. The person we have chemistry with, or that we were attracted to them. I mean, usually we're not picking an agent we don't know. Usually we know an agent, we've worked with them, or we've done something with them. But if you're building a business, then I think, having all these tools at your disposal is part of your personal branding. If I can go and I can show homes this weekend, I'm a new agent, and I can leave behind when I go look at 3 houses, a few pages of a report that's branded to me, that's bright and colorful, that prints really nice, and I can hand that off. And it's not just a company report, it's got my branding on it.
Yeah.
I mean, hello, that's brilliant.
Right.
And then I can go home and on my social media, I can also post that in a story. I was out with a client today, we're looking at houses. I was able to share this, or I can do the carousels and I can do the swipe throughs to show this is what's going on with the market right now. And I can do that on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, stories, reels. I mean, all of this builds your personal branding. So, what I would say about that is don't be shy about sharing your knowledge. Use these tools to tout yourself
Right.
as the go-to expert for real estate. Use your title company. Use the information that they have to brand you. It's not about branding Secured Title if you're an agent. It's not about branding your broker. It's about branding you, because that's who people are going to connect with. It's how well they feel you're taking care of them, right? We talked about last month that luxury is how well you take care of something. Well, it's the luxury experience, no matter what price point you're selling a home, is how well you're taking care of your clients. And with products like this, I mean, your head's above a lot of other people who don't have it. So kudos to Secured Title for providing this to your people. I think it's just wonderful.
That's a great tool. And, I always think about, too, when people go in and you talk about having a relationships, but what if you got a call and you were in a beauty contest and you knew you were going to be one of 3 agents that came in to try to pick up that listing?
Boy, that's reality, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so you go through your standard stuff about comps and this is what we'd recommend and blah, blah, blah. But how many of them sit down and say, "Ann, let me show you what you would net at this price, et cetera," and using these tools, financial view, again, being able to see it, I think it's a differentiator out there. So
I do too.
Yeah, so you just got to look for where the window is to distinguish yourself, and I think this is one of those tools that does that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Well, guess what?
we're out of time.
We're out of time.
Goes
All right,
so fast.
So let's do our 3 things. And what we like to do, Michael, is at the end of the show, I like to ask our guests to give me 3 things you want to leave the audience with.
Okay.
Just 3 thoughts. So and if you want to think about that a second,
Yeah,
I'll let
you guys
Mark
go first.
Well, obviously, we really wanted to target in because I really wanted to emphasize this technology as being a great tool in this market that we're in today, and certainly for the future. So, if you are not using this kind of technology, I strongly encourage you to take a look at it, and we would be happy to present it to you. Contact me or any of our reps, and we'd be happy to
Sure,
to get that.
absolutely.
Secondly, I think that particularly I keep going back to the number side of it. I think the number side is something that always causes realtors to be a little anxious. They're like, if you're trying to figure out what the cost is going to be, how much is going to be monthly, blah, 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 first thing they're going to have a tendency to do is hand off to whoever their preferred loan officer is. And to me, you lose a little bit of your connectivity with that when you do that. So learning on the financing side, this gives you a tool that you can use it by just simply input and be more informed on the financing options and outcomes based on those things. So anyhow, use technology. That's kind of my hello.
Love that
Yeah, use that and take advantage of it and
Yeah.
contact us. We'd love to help you.
Yeah, love that.
All right. I mean, I don't want to
Michael.
piggyback off of
That's okay.
Mark's, but
Sometimes we repeat the very same thing.
whether it's this app, whether it's other technology, some of the AI stuff that has come out, again, just to piggyback off of what Mark is saying, it's so important to get out there and get accustomed to using this stuff. I heard a phrase that everybody is afraid of AI replacing them, and that's not what you need to be worried about. You need to be worried about the person who uses AI to replace you. And so if you can be that person that uses the technology, you're going to get a head start. The other point, I also wanted to piggyback off of that, waiting for a callback from the lender, all the final numbers go through the lender, but if you're able to be empowered and estimate on the fly, you're providing a better experience to your clients, and that's really what this is all about. It's so important to be that knowledge broker that your clients can rely on. And so that being 2, and then 3, of course, don't be afraid to play with these calculators. It can be overwhelming. There's a ton in there, but it's all designed to be simple. Once you start playing with it, you'll feel more comfortable, and it's going to help you win in markets like today where everyone feels like it's harder to work. This is something that's designed to make it easier for you to convince those buyers, let them know that it's important to consider buying right now. Even if rates are higher, like Mark said, interest rates will come down, and if you buy now and get the home for the right price, you're going to position yourself better. So,
Agreed.
Awesome. Well, let's see. My marketing take on all of this is, and I love what you said, be a knowledge broker. I love that. Mark preaches that all of the time. Be a knowledge broker. One of the things that Gary Vee said recently in a video that I was watching of his is that to make a splash on social media today, you need to be on social media 7 times a day. And he's like, no, I'm not talking about you have to post on Instagram 7 times today, but you need to, and I think really he does that, but for real people, we don't have that much content to post 7 times. But here's what he was saying is that you can be everywhere on social media. Instagram post, Instagram Reels, Instagram Stories, Facebook Reels, Facebook Stories, Facebook Post, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. There you go. What? We're at 8.
Yeah.
All right. So if I've got my tools in a row and I'm ready to go with my content and I've got these kinds of things that we have at our fingertips with the secured
Agent.
TX
TX.
app, okay, and or Palm Agent apps. If you've got those things in your arsenal, then you're ready to go. You've got content for stories, you've got content for posts, you've got content for reels, and you can set yourself up to where you're posting simultaneously on all of these platforms so that you are everywhere on the internet every single day. Now, sometimes I know you need help doing that. That's where I come in. I can help you do all of that. But be sure in your personal marketing, and these are my 3 takeaways, that your marketing's personal. Okay, you've got to get personal sometimes, that it's educational, and that it's showing the insider look into things. So, like Mark has always said, people want to know and understand the market. They want to understand what's going on. So this is where your skills as a real estate marketer come in, where you use your personality and your tone to really give inside information. And I know that this app can help you do that. But also you're going to have to reach further than just an app to do your marketing. So my 3 takeaways, just make sure that you're using this thing for personal, for educational, and be that educational broker.
Right.
I think it's awesome.
Knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge.
Yep.
Knowledge is power.
Excellent.
All right, this was fun. Thank you
was.
so
Yeah,
much for
thank you,
popping
buddy.
by.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure.
and we will see you guys next month on The Insiders.
Ciao.
Ciao.